Tired of Foghorn Leghorn. I don't want to hear a Foghorn Leghorn accent anymore from people on movies and TV. Much too often, when people want to evoke the South with their performance, or their jokes or whatever, they reach for a made-up accent, a synthetic accent that was invented by a brilliant man named Mel Blanc. You already know what I'm talking about. You can hear it in your head. That, boy, I say, we got to get this cotton pulled in here before the sun sets. The worst offender, in more than one regard, in recent memory, is Kevin Spacey. That's the accent he did on House of Cards. He was supposed to be portraying a character from South Carolina. It's not a South Carolina accent, not at all. If you want to do a more authentic South Carolinian accent, especially a South Carolinian politician, that's very easy. Think about somebody whose voice you can probably conjure in your head, and that's Lindsey Graham. He softens some of his vowels, but he pronounces his R's and he rounds his O's, like that. The reason I'm particularly irritated with this right now is because I watched this movie last night called Edge of Tomorrow. It's a pretty good movie. Had some flaws. Bill Paxton was in it. Rest in peace. He was from Texas and should have known better, but he played a character from Kentucky.
The news is there's hope for you, Private. Hope in the form of glorious combat. Battle is the great redeemer, the fiery crucible in which the only true heroes are forged.
No Bill Paxton. Notice that he softens all his vowels. He's way down in his mouth. His face is kind of droopy when he pronounces everything. And he's non-rhotic, drops all his R's. It is explicitly stated, this is not like lore from the movie. He tells Tom Cruise over and over again, because it's a time loop movie, that he's from Science Hill, Kentucky, which is a real place. If your goal is to sound like a real person from Kentucky, you could try sounding like someone, say, like me. I was born in Kentucky. I lived there for 26 years. Nobody ever talked to me like that, and I've always talked like this. If you really want to evoke somebody distinct and well-known, instantly recognizable from Kentucky that's easy to imitate, you could try Muhammad Ali from Louisville, who did not sound like Foghorn Leghorn. The thing is that even if that cartoon accent were more a genuine Southern thing, Kentucky is not the South. Kentucky did not secede during the Civil War. Kentucky is a convergence. Speech patterns in Kentucky are a mix of all the different states and regions that border it. You get the Midwest from Illinois, Indiana, Missouri. You get the South from Tennessee and Virginia, and you get the Appalachians in particular from Eastern Ohio and West Virginia. So some vowels do get softened by many Kentucky speakers. That's that Southern influence. You got your O's and your U's and your A's. Corona, for instance. But people don't take into account the Appalachians, the mountain accent, which comes from a very different strain of English colonist than the kind of Atlantic trade that influenced the non-rhotic Southern speech. So some of your vowels don't get softened, they get sharpened. Your I's and your E's in particular are just kind of, you're pulling your face up a little bit, and your R's, if anything, you hit them harder. My dad's side of the family, and in particular I'm thinking of my late paternal grandmother, Edith, grew up in the foothills of the Appalachians. She grew up in a place called W Holler, which is to say W hollow, but in the mountains you holler. You notice there's an R there that isn't even really there to begin with. You add extra ones. You don't drop it like Foghorn Leghorn. You shove an extra one in. So just with that much, just knowing those few facts about a Kentucky accent, let's try Mr. Paxton's speech, all right? Good news is there's hope for you, Private. Hope in the form of glorious combat. Battle is the great redeemer, the fiery crucible in which the only true heroes are forged, the one place where all men truly share the same rank. I'm not a huge fan of Justified, but give him credit. Timothy Olyphant put in the work. He got it right. He has a credible Kentucky accent. He's from Hawaii, by the way. My point is, you never have to reach for Foghorn Leghorn. You never have to reach for anything Mel Blanc did. You can't do any of his voices as well as he did anyway. If for some reason you really need to nail a regional accent on short notice, my tip to you is politicians. It's very easy to find tons of video and recordings of legislators and candidates from wherever you're trying to get, and they're the ones who try to get it right. The one person who needs to sell a speech pattern or an accent to people who know what it actually sounds like more than actors are politicians. So there's your study tip. Okay, good night.